Hello everyone, welcome back. So good evening everyone. Today we will be discussing the hormones and glands in the theoretical section along with the previous year questions. So what we are going to do today, we will be starting theoretical section along with the theory. What all questions were asked related to that, we will be covering that part. And in the ending, we will be covering all the questions which were asked in CGL previously, and one by one we will be having discussion on that questions as well. So without any delay, let's start with our theoretical part. So what is the topic today? Today we will be understanding what are glands and hormones. So let's start. First of all, let's have a look at this image. If I talk about this part, this means we are talking about skull. Now right here, just here, we have a small dot-like structure which is actually known as pineal gland. Please remember, in the morning I gave you question of the day, that was the homework question, and you all solved it. Now I am telling you that pineal gland is the one which is the smallest gland. Somewhere you may find in the question that there is an option which is of pituitary, and we think that pituitary is the smallest. No, pineal is the smallest. I'll tell you what's the confusion. What happens when question is asked, there are four options given over there, and in those particular four options, in the examination of CGL when it was asked, pineal was not given as the option. Fine. That's why we clicked pituitary as the correct answer, and this was the main reason I gave this as a homework. Please remember, pineal gland is actually the smallest gland. Fine. Now you must be wondering what is gland, what is hormone. We are going to discuss each and everything right now. So without any delay, let's start. If I talk about this hormone, what is it? For our body, there are several parts from where these hormones are created. Now we are talking about those parts. What are they? We are talking about glands. We are talking about hormones. What are they? These hormones are actually non-nutrient chemicals which act as a intracellular messengers, and they are produced in trace amounts. Now I was talking about glands. What are they? There are several glands in our body which includes this hypothalamus, which is there in the brain. Apart from hypothalamus, there is pineal gland, which is again there in the brain. If I talk about this neck structure, that is, if we'll zoom, we'll have a look that it is quite like this. This butterfly shaped structure is actually your thyroid gland. Fine. Now on this thyroid gland, just have a look. These four dots are there. 1, 2, 3, 4. These four dots are known as parathyroid gland. So we have to cover all these glands one by one, and yes, we will be understanding from these parts, that is, we are talking about glands, from these glands which hormones are actually secreted, and the most important thing, what those hormones are actually doing. Now you must be wondering, sir, why we are studying this? I'll give you awesome examples where you can just take an example. If I say you have to wake up early tomorrow in the morning at 4 o'clock. So what you will do? You will put a alarm clock. Then on the very next day, that is day after tomorrow also, I'll say you have to wake up at 4. What you will do? Again use the alarm. Then I'll say on the third day also, you have to wake up at 4. You will again use the alarm. But after few number of days, what you can do? Without putting alarm also, you will see that your eye is actually opening at exactly 4. Why? Because there is some hormone which is playing that significant role. Now which is that hormone? That hormone is actually melatonin. But before understanding all those concepts, which is that particular hormone, what is melatonin, we need to clarify what all these things are actually. Fine. So first of all, we'll be understanding what are glands, then hormones, then we'll be understanding one by one what all hormones are actually there and what they are doing. So we have Sudesh here. Hello Sudesh, how are you? So what we have discussed till now, Sudesh, we have told that glands are those particular parts in our body from which hormones are secreted, and these hormones are actually non-nutrient chemicals which are actually doing what? They are acting as a intracellular messengers, and they are produced in trace amounts. These hormones are actually released into the bloods and transmitted to various organs and tissues of the human body. For what reason? For several reasons. One of the reason I've told you. For example, waking up at the same time, melatonin. Fine. Now, one by one, we'll be understanding that. But before that, one more point is there. Hormones are primarily classified into three categories which are based on their chemical structure. Now, what are they? One by one, let's have a look. First of all, we'll discuss about lipid derived hormones. They're actually derived from the cholesterol and they share a similarity in the terms of their structure. Now you must be wondering, sir, this cholesterol, is it that same one when we see in the TV ads, whenever there is a ad of refined oil or something like that, then we are told if cholesterol level increases, it creates some issues. And yes, that is this one. Fine. So there are actually fats which are good fats and bad fats. We have studied about that in the nutrients part. So here, yes, they are the same cholesterols. If I talk about amino acid derived hormones, they originate from the amino acid tyrosine and tryptophan. So here you can take the example of epinephrine and norepinephrine. Now before moving into this in detail, one thing is there. What? There's a gland which is known as 4S gland. How many of you were there in the morning when we discussed about a gland that was adrenal gland? Adrenal gland. From this particular gland, that is adrenal gland, there are several hormones which are released where we can talk about adrenaline, noradrenaline, where we can even talk about epinephrine and norepinephrine. Then there's a third category of peptide hormone which are actually deriving its name from the peptide itself. That is, structure of peptide hormone is like that of polypeptide chain. Example can be again same. Now if I talk about types of glands, there are two main type of glands. So hello Happy, good evening, how are you? So yes, I was talking about the type of glands. So there are basically two type of glands. One is exocrine and another is endocrine. Now what's the difference between two? Let's understand one by one. First of all, we'll be discussing about endocrine glands. If I talk about endocrine gland, they secrete their respective substances directly into the bloodstream rather than through the duct. Now, why this particular line is important? This question is asked in CGL, CHSL many times, that which of the following is ductless gland. Now try to understand what I'm saying. They are secreting their respective substances directly into the bloodstream rather through a duct. That is, they are not using duct, correct? Since they are not using duct, that's why they are known as ductless gland. Now this part is very important for the examination. Do not forget, if I talk about ductless glands, if I discuss about ductless gland, please remember that they are actually your endocrine glands. So we have HR over here. Hello HR, good evening, no issues, how are you? So yes, we are talking about endocrine glands and they are known as ductless glands because they are directly secreting their respective substances into the bloodstream. They are not using the duct, so they are ductless. Very important question for the examination. Now what all things will come there? Thyroid gland, pituitary gland, they are its example. Fine. Now if someone asks you, in this endocrine glands, there are so many glands over there. Pituitary gland would be there, thyroid is there, then parathyroid is there. Now if I talk about those endocrine glands, this thyroid gland is actually the largest gland. Fine. And if I talk about this pituitary, it is actually master of these glands. This pituitary is actually maintaining, or I'll say dealing with all those particular glands. Now you must be wondering, sir, if I talk about these, how to learn all those things? Don't worry. One by one, we have all the awesome examples with all the hormones. We'll be understanding which one is actually helping in the secretion of the milk, which one is actually giving the color of your skin, which one is actually giving you the height. We are going to discuss all the things one by one. So this thyroid gland is actually present in your neck, having butterfly shaped structure, quite like this. And there are 4 dots. These are parathyroid glands. So let's move forward. It is asked, in which of the following endocrine glands are found in the neck? Let's see who will answer this. This is from CGL 2013. I'm asking, in which of the following endocrine gland is actually found in the neck? Which of the following endocrine gland? So there are four options: pancreas, thyroid, pituitary, or adrenal cortex. Which one? Talking about the neck, we have just discussed about it. Let's see who will give this answer. Is it pancreas? Is it thyroid? Is it pituitary? Or is it adrenal cortex? Yes, HR, Sudesh, who will be giving this answer? If I'll draw the structure of a human body, let's consider this as the neck. This part is actually having this butterfly shaped structure. Fine. And there are, hello Sana, hello, how are you? So here are four dots which are present. This is present in the neck. So let's have a look. Yes, we have what? Thyroid over here, and that's true. So option number B is going to be your correct answer. If I talk about the location of pancreas, it's where, if I talk about the example of a human body, I'll just show you via diagram as well. Nearby stomach. Fine. If I'll talk about this pituitary, we have discussed, it's in the brain. Fine. That is your skull part. If I talk about adrenal gland is actually located on the kidney, right above the kidney. So yes, Sana, you're totally correct. Absolutely correct. HR, I'm waiting for your answers. So yeah, next is where pituitary gland is found in our body. I've just told. Let's see who will give this answer. Where is pituitary gland present in our body? Now this question is from CGL and MTS, both. Where is this particular pituitary gland present? Just told about this. Let's see who gives this answer. If I talk about this kidney, there is a gland which is known as adrenal gland, from where adrenaline hormone is secreted. You remember? I gave the example. If I talk about the emergency hormone, it is released from here. Now, why is it an emergency? We'll be having discussion on that. So yes, HR, totally correct. It is actually present on the, just a second. Yeah, it is present on the base of the brain. So totally correct. Awesome. Moving forward. So before moving forward, let me tell you there's an example of application which you can download it from the Play Store. And the most important thing is, we have live paid courses here, then free subject wise, topic wise quizzes are there along with the report cards. There are weekly, monthly current affairs. There are many things. Just go to the Play Store, type Exampur, click on the install button, click on the open part, just register it and start using it. And yes, we have UPSSC PT Master Test Series at just ₹1. What do you have to do? You have to just type the code PT99 and get this test series at just ₹1. From price 999, it is going to come till ₹1. So yes, now if I talk about this exocrine glands, see, there was a difference. I told you, if I'm talking about the endocrine glands, they were directly secreting their respective substances into the bloodstream, but they are actually releasing or their secretions through the ducts. So exocrine glands secrete their secretions through the ducts, and hence, hello Ishan, how are you? So what I was saying, endocrine glands are ductless gland, but they are actually using ducts, so they are not ductless. Fine. So there was a difference between two, and this is the most important question for the CGL. Yes. So if I talk about its example, there are sweat glands, there are lacrimal glands. Now, talking about endocrine glands. So endocrine glands belong to the body's control system, and they produce hormones which help to regulate the functions of the cells and tissues. Now, what kind of functions? Let's have a look one by one what all particular glands are there. So we have pituitary over here, which is the master gland. We have pituitary, which is actually your master gland. It is controlling other glands. That's why it is known as master gland. Important question. I'm writing all those important things over here. If I'll talk about the pineal gland, it is actually your smallest gland. We are going to have discussion one by one. But yes, I am writing important things here. It is actually your smallest gland. Next, if I talk about thyroid, in the endocrine system, it is actually the largest one. If I talk about all the endocrine glands, so it would be the largest one among them. Then, talking about adrenal gland, where is it located? It is located just above kidney, and it releases what? Adrenaline hormone. Talking about the pancreas, these pancreas are actually endocrine also and exocrine also. Do not forget, they are also known as mixed gland. So writing here, pancreas are actually mixed gland which comes in the category of both endocrine also, exocrine also. Then talking about parathyroid, it is located just above this thyroid. When we are talking about thyroid, it is a butterfly shaped structure. If we are talking about 4 dots, these are actually your parathyroid. Then talking about this thymus gland, this thymus gland is quite awkward. Let me tell you, it actually takes its maximum shape when we are 13 years old. But just after 13 years, it starts degrading its shape. That's why we can say that as we grow, it keeps on decreasing. So HR is saying that it is both endo and exo, and that's true. I guess I'm cutting your comments late, HR. But yeah, you are right. If I'm talking about this pancreas, they are mixed gland. That is, they are actually your exocrine also and endocrine also. Yes. So moving forward with the gonads, gonads where we can talk about the secretion of the sex hormones, in which if I talk about the males, we have testes in the males, and if I talk about the females, there are ovary in the females. And the secretion which is done for the female sex hormones, they are what? They are actually your estrogen and progesterone. For the males, sex hormone are testosterone. Now, who releases what? We will be discussing one by one. Yes, moving forward. One by one, we'll be having all the discussions. But before that, is everything cool till now? Is everything okay? Because now we are going to have all the examples one by one. And all the examples will be related to the real world part. So before starting this, is everything okay? Please give me thumbs up so that I can move forward. Everyone, I require thumbs up from everyone right now. Whether it is Sana, HR, Happy, Sudesh, Ishan, everyone. Is it okay? Yes. Only then I'll start. I have all the examples where if I talk about this pituitary, I'll be taking the example of class monitors over here. If I talk about hypothalamus, I'll be taking of example of a class teacher. Now how I'm going to relate this? We have a story for everything. We have examples for everything, but need thumbs up right now. Everyone. Cool. So yes, let's start with the pituitary gland. See, what is this pituitary gland? This pituitary gland is actually regarded as master gland. Why? Let me tell you. In our exam, in our class, when we were in the classrooms, when we were in the school time or college time, in the school time, I'll take the example, we used to have class monitors, correct? And the class monitor used to see who all are having those particular issues. Whatever issues were there, they were taken to the class teacher. And all those class teachers, whatever issues were there in their classes, they used to discuss with their principals. That was actually the hierarchy at that time, isn't it? Now, if I talk about our body, in our body, there are several glands from where those hormones are secreted. Now, all those glands are actually having one master who is dealing with all those things. Okay, so I'll be secreting this, you are secreting this, you are secreting this, and this particular gland, that is pituitary, is handling that as a class monitor. So this is known as master gland. Now it is controlling what? It is actually controlling the functions of all the other glands, which includes like adrenal, thyroid, adrenal gland, which is the part of kidney. Now what it is doing? It is secreting adrenaline. We'll be having a look over there. Similar way, thyroid, where is it? In our neck, creating what? Thyroxine. So let's have a look. If I talk about thyroid gland, it secretes thyroid hormones like T3 and T4. Where it is located? It is located on our neck. Then, if I talk about parathyroid, I told you this thyroid is actually having butterfly shaped structure. Now, this question is asked in the examination. Which gland is having butterfly shaped structure? That is thyroid. And on that particular butterfly shaped structure, there were 4 dots. Those 4 dots were what? Parathyroid. Now, this parathyroid gland actually influence the calcium levels in the body, which are produced by parathyroid hormone. So what I am saying here, thyroid gland, which was secreting this thyroid hormones T3 and T4. One more thing I want to add here, iodine plays a significant role, very important role. If iodine will be lacking, what is going to happen? If this iodine lacks, then this means there will be an issue which is known as goiter. Remember this. This iodine is playing a very important role in maintaining this thyroid. Thyroid gland actually secretes what? T3, T4. We can take the example of thyroxine. I think adrenal is an excitement gland. Correct, sir. See, yes, that's true. If I'll talk about the excitement level, so whenever we are in the state of emergency, this adrenaline hormone works, and adrenaline actually comes from adrenal gland. That's true. One by one we'll be having discussion. Don't worry HR, we are coming in that part as well. Now talking about adrenal glands, they secrete adrenaline which triggers the fight or flight. Now what is this fight and flight? So let's have an example over here HR. What I'll say, see, just consider an example when you are without any energy. You are just after whole day's work, your body is like, I want rest now. And you're moving on a road, and what happens? Suddenly a dog comes, or you just see a snake. What is going to happen? Even you don't know from where that particular energy will come, and you will start running. True? From where that particular energy is coming. Here you can take the example of adrenaline hormone, which is actually helping you out in maintaining the energy, or just using that energy to face that emergency situation. Fine. Very, very important. Do not forget, whenever we are talking about the emergency situation, this particular hormone is working. Apart from that, I have one more example. Just think of a scenario. If you are in a college, fine. Now in college, what happened? There was a cute girl, for example. Now there's a cute girl, so obviously 3 or 4 people are there who just want to interact with her. It's just first year, we have just joined the college, and she has also joined. We 4 are there. Now all the 4 candidates just want to talk to her. Fine. Now just imagine the scenario. There's a fight between 2 of them. They are just fighting with each other. One of them actually just falls down. While during fight, he actually fall down. Now what happened? If that girl actually passes from that particular part when he has just fallen down, what will happen? No matter he is in what situation, he'll just get up and just smash that guy who has actually pushed him, or just who has actually made him to fall down. Why? Because at that time there would be triggering of the hormone, that is adrenaline hormone, which was given by adrenal gland, and that's why it is considered as or said to be 3F hormone. Why? Because it is helping in what? Fear. Then there's the example of fight, and there's another term, that is flight. Fear during the fear part. If I talk about fight, during the fight, I have just given you the example, and this flight doesn't mean that he'll just use the wings and move away. No, we're talking about the moving or just running in the super fast pace. One more example is here. In a school time, in college days, when we used to run, and when there was a finish line that used to come over there, and when our friend or our teacher used to motivate us, yes, you can do it, yes, you can do it. At that time, the hormone which actually used to work was adrenaline, and hence we can say that this 3F, that is fear, fight and flight, is related to adrenaline. One more thing, this adrenal gland is also known as 4S gland, because it is secreting what? Here 4S is actually related to sex, salt, sugar and stress. That's why it is also known as 4S glands, and this 3F is actually your adrenaline. So this was the thing from adrenal glands. Now, in which of the following is known as the emergency hormone? So it is the question from HR, and I want answer from everyone. This question is from CGL 2015. So HR, I guess your point is clear now. In which of the following is known as emergency hormone? Is it adrenaline, is it thyroxine, is it vasopressin, or is it insulin? One by one, we'll be having discussion on all the parts. But first of all, I want the answer. Which of the following is known as emergency hormone? We are talking about excitement level, isn't it? So let's see who is going to give this answer. A. Very true. It is actually your adrenaline hormone, which is directly helping you out in the emergency situation. So yes, that's true. Adrenaline is going to be correct answer. If I talk about this thyroxine, that is, it is released from the thyroid gland. You can just have a look. Thyro. You can just relate it from here. This thyroid gland is secreting the thyroxine, and if there is the lacking of insulin, sorry, if there is iodine that is lacking, it will do what? The iodine's lacking is going to create the issue that is known as goiter. Now, if I talk about the vasopressin, or if I talk about the ADH, that is antidiuretic hormone, it is helping in the water balancing. If I talk about this insulin is actually helping in the glucose levels maintenance, glucose. So glucose level is actually maintained through it. Now how it is created, from where it is created, we'll be having that discussion. So Sudesh, HR, Sana, Udbhav, you all were correct. The correct answer is adrenaline. Next, now talking about this pancreas, we were discussing about insulin, right? Here, if I talk about pancreas, insulin is actually generated from this. How? Pancreas is having alpha, beta, delta cell. From where? Please remember, there's a part that is known as islets of Langerhans. Islets of Langerhans. Now this is important. From where we have alpha, beta and delta cell. From alpha, we generate what? From here, glucagon is generated. From beta cell, we have insulin. Delta, we have somatostatin. But the important thing is, glucagon and insulin, they are doing what? They are actually maintaining the glucose level. What if glucose level increases? If glucose level will increase, here the issue that comes is what? That is diabetes mellitus. So just have a look. Insulin is produced by beta cells in the pancreas, which helps in the regulation of blood glucose level in the body. Similarly, if I talk about the glucagon, it is secreted by alpha cells, which we have written there. It is helping it to prevent glucose level from dropping too low. Fine. So I guess this part is clear with the pancreas. If I talk about the gonads, that is, if I talk about the male part, then you can talk about testes. If I talk about the female part, that would be ovaries. So these gonads are actually producing estrogen, which is important for the reproduction and also for female sex characteristics, where females are actually looking quite different from male because of this presence. Then if I talk about testes, they produce testosterone that is responsible for male sex characteristics. And the important thing, pineal gland, which we had discussion in the morning also, which among us the following is the smallest gland? If someone gives you all those four options, please remember pineal is going to be the correct answer. If pineal is not there, then pituitary would be there. Only then pituitary would be correct. Please remember, pineal is actually the smallest gland. I'm again and again emphasizing on this part because this question is done wrong by many of the candidates. I know where you are going to do. I know where you will be actually putting this answer incorrect. So please remember, pineal is actually your correct answer. So here, pineal actually produces melatonin, which influences the body's internal clock, because of which you wake up at the correct time. So yes, we have discussed all those important particular parts. Now let's have a look. Which of the following is a male sex hormone? This question is from CGL 2014. Let's see who will give this correct answer. Yes, waiting for the answer. Which is male sex hormone? So this question is from CGL 2014. Let's see who gives this answer. Is it progesterone? Is it estrogen? Is it testosterone? Is it insulin? What will be the correct answer? Sana, Sudesh, Udbhav, HR. HR is with C, and that's true. If I talk about testosterone, we can directly relate it. What? Testes. From testes, you can directly say that, sir, yes, testes is the part of male sex or organ, correct? So here, yeah, that's true, HR. If I talk about progesterone and estrogen, they are for females. And if I talk about testosterone, they are actually for males. And insulin we have already discussed, generated from pancreas beta cells. True? So yes, that's correct. Next, which hormone secretion actually takes from corpus luteum? Let's see who gives this answer. Now let me tell you about this corpus luteum. This hormone is actually generated when? After the ovulation period. After the ovulation. We'll be discussing this in the female reproductive system. When we will be having reproduction class, I guess it would be tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow itself or day after tomorrow we will be having reproductive class, reproduction system. In that we are going to discuss this. Yes, tomorrow we will be having the class on nervous system. Day after tomorrow we will be having reproductive systems class. So there will be understanding this. Yeah, correct, Sudesh. So in the morning we will be having nervous system questions. Yes. So HR is with D, that is hemoglobin. No HR, it's not hemoglobin actually. Sudesh is with C, estrogen. See, it's very obvious. We are talking about female reproductive system. So that means testosterone is eliminated. If I talk about hemoglobin HR, hemoglobin is actually the part of our blood where we can take the example of RBCs. You remember in RBCs nucleus was not there. That is, nucleus was absent. Why? so that there can be a larger space for that, and blood was actually red because of the presence of hemoglobin. So already two options are eliminated and we have progesterone correct over here. Please remember, when there's a disintegration of the corpus luteum, at that time this progesterone is secreted. And yes, estrogen is also the part of female sex hormone. Yes, moving forward. Now talking about the female, yes, talking about the female endocrine glands, here just have a look. This pineal gland is where? Brain. Pituitary is again from the brain part. Talking about the thyroid, this thyroid is in the neck part. If I talk about parathyroid, we have already discussed this butterfly shaped structure is having 4 dots, and these 4 dots are actually parathyroid. Talking about thymus, this thymus is present over here. Then adrenal glands, where adrenal gland is present? Adrenal gland is present on the kidney. This is your kidney. So just above the kidney, your adrenal gland is there. Talking about the pancreas, we have discussed where is pancreas. You can take the example. If you want the exact location, I'll tell you. It's nearby by your stomach. Then if I'll talk about the gonads, for the females we have ovaries, correct, from where estrogen progesterone was there. And if I'll talk about the male, the only thing that is going to change is the gonads, that is your testes. Then talking about exocrine glands, what is actually exocrine now? If I talk about exocrine glands, they release the chemical messengers in the form of hormones to their target sites through ducts. Remember? Let's see who remembers. If I talk about ductless gland, what is actually ductless gland? Who can tell me? Ductless gland. Can you give any of the example of ductless gland? Any one example. Anyone. Sudesh, HR, Udbhav, Sana. Anyone. Can you tell me any one of the example of ductless gland? Let's see who will be the first one to answer this. HR, will you be the first one to answer this? Which one is going to be the ductless gland? Remember, please do not forget, if I talk about the ductless gland, there are endocrine glands, and within endocrine category we have discussed many glands which includes pituitary, then thyroid, parathyroid. What all are they? They all are ductless glands, correct? So yes, endocrine glands are the ductless gland because those particular nutrients or those particular important materials are directly put into the bloodstream without using any ducts. But these exocrine glands are actually using ducts. Then they contain the duct part and the glandular portion. So classified on the process in which secretions are released, they are classified into 3 parts. Which one are they? Merocrine, apocrine and holocrine. Now, if I talk about the merocrine secretion, just have a look at the secretion. Here secretion is actually done. So cell releases their secretions just by exocytosis process. In examination it is asked by which process they are releasing it. So please remember, that is what? That is exocytosis. If I talk about apocrine, so here a portion of the cell membrane that contains the excretion buds off. Just have a look. Here this was the whole structure. This part actually is tried to come out and finally it is coming out. But what is going to happen in the next situation? Whole of the cell will just disintegrate. Just have a look. If I talk about holocrine secretion, entire cell collapses to secreted substances. For example, sebaceous glands of the skin and nose. So sebaceous glands which are present in a skin and a nose, here what happens? Actually, mature cell dies and they become secretory product. So we can say that entire cell is collapsing to secreted substances, where we have discussed about the nose and the skin cell. Fine. So yes, these were the things. Now talking about the disorders of the system, what happens if there would be lot of those particular hormones, then also issue will be there. If there is lack of hormone, then also issue is there. Now what is the difference between two? Let's have a look. So in case of hormone, if it is in excess also, then it is leading to some disease. If it is in less amount also, then also it is causing disease. Now can we take its example? Yes, there's a hormone which is released by pituitary gland. We call that hormone as a growth hormone. Now what will happen? If this hormone is in less amount, what is going to happen? Person will suffer from dwarfism, that is, his height will be less. If someone is having this growth hormone in a larger amount, then the height will be very much high. That's why we can say that if growth hormone are extra, we say that that person is suffering from what? Gigantism. If that hormone is less, person is suffering from dwarfism. So there's the difference between two. Just have a look over here. Left hand is the perfect one. That is, person is having growth hormone in sufficient amount. But if it increases, just have a look. What is going to happen? Here the person will suffer from acromegaly. That is, there is a excess of growth hormone. So just have a look at this point. So whenever there is the excess, it actually causes acromegaly, that we call gigantism. So there's the difference between two. Please remember. Then, if I talk about Graves' disease, what is it? See, we discussed about thyroid gland, correct? Now, what will happen if I talk about this thyroid gland? If there is, just have a look at this word, hyperthyroidism. Hyper means extra or more. Hypo means less. So if I talk about this hyperthyroidism, this means we are talking about extra thyroidism. So it is also known as exophthalmic goiter, where we discussed already. If I am talking about goiter, when it was happening, when there was lack of iodine. True. So if even if this hyperthyroidism is there, what it is going to do? It will create Graves' disease, in which you can say that eyes will pop out. Just have a look. So it is an autoimmune disorder which is commonly found in kids. This will do what? Thyroid gland becomes overactive and it secretes too many thyroid hormones. Because of the excess of hormones, these eyes actually pop out. So this Graves' disease also occurs when there is excess of thyroid. And if even it is lacking, then also issues there. So we must be aware of that hormone balance is very, very important. Yes, moving forward now. If I talk about diabetes mellitus, as already discussed, this is your pancreas part. Pancreas, which is actually your mixed gland. Do not forget, it is actually acting as both endocrine and exocrine. So diabetes mellitus, which is also known as diabetes, it is the condition in which blood glucose level is high due to insufficient secretion of insulin. Now, when there will be insufficient secretion of insulin, it is having alpha, beta and delta cell, isolate of Langerhans. Now, if beta cell is not working in the proper way, this means insulin will also not come in the proper way. If insulin will not come in the proper way, this means there will be disbalance. If glucose level goes high and insulin level comes down, so this means person is going to suffer from diabetes mellitus. Let's have a question. Which of the following cells secrete insulin? This question is from CPO 2017. Who will answer this? And let me tell you, it is actually alpha, this is actually your beta, and this is actually your delta. So who can give this answer? Alpha, beta, delta or nerve cells? What is going to be the correct answer? Please give this answer by thinking, because it is very, very important for the examinations. Not only for CPO, it is asked in other exams as well. But exact year, I was actually trying to find out, then class came. So that's why I have not mentioned that. But it is for sure, it is from CPO 2017. So yes, waiting for the answer. Please do it in a super fast manner. Which of the following cells secrete insulin? Which cell? Is it alpha cell? Is it beta cell? Is it delta cell? Which one? Waiting for the answer. Waiting. Just told you. See, when we are talking about this insulin, we are talking about isolates of Langerhans, which is there in the pancreas, and there we have alpha cell, beta cell, delta cell. From alpha we have glucagon. So from beta we are actually having insulin. Correct? We have just discussed about it. Now just have a look. Which of the following cells secretes insulin? And that's very true that here beta cell would be the correct answer. Next. In body, which is the largest endocrine gland? If I talk about the largest endocrine gland, so here the question is from CGL 2011. Let's see who is going to give this answer. Largest endocrine gland. Which is going to be the largest endocrine gland? So here, if I talk about the largest endocrine gland, please remember that is going to be your thyroid gland. But one more question is there. If someone is asking you which is the largest gland in the human body, you will directly take liver. So these are two different questions which I have kept at the same time. Do not forget, If I talk about the largest gland, that is your liver. If I talk about the gland that is in the endocrine system, so in the endocrine gland, the largest one is actually your thyroid gland. So there's a difference between two. Do not forget, it is the important one. Yes, moving forward. Next is, if someone asks you which of the following gland regulate the body temperature or thermoregulatory. So we were discussing about several glands, isn't it? One of the gland was known as master gland. One of the gland was master gland. Now which one is the master gland? The master gland is actually your pituitary gland, correct? So I was giving the example of a class monitor. That is actually your pituitary gland. But this is only a class monitor. We were discussing about class teacher as well. That means there must be something which is above this also, which is actually controlling your pituitary gland. Which one is that? That is actually your hypothalamus. Please remember, this is your hypothalamus. So hypothalamus is actually master of the master gland, which is controlling your hunger, thirst, pain, sexual arousal. All those are actually controlled by hypothalamus. So what it is asked? It is asked about the temperatures controlling thermoregulatory. So whether it is thermoregulatory, whether it is pain, whether it is hunger, whether it is thirst, whether it is sexual arousal, all those things are controlled by this hypothalamus, and hence option number D would be correct. Next, what may be the cause of malfunctioning of thyroid gland? What can be the cause of it? So here this question is from CGL 2002. Is it iodine's deficiency? Is it iron's deficiency? Is it calcium's deficiency? Or is it vitamin C's deficiency? So let's see who is going to give this answer. And yes, you are thinking that correct. If I talk about the malfunction of thyroid gland, it is because of the iodine deficiency, and the issue which is created is what? The issue which is created is actually goiter. In Hindi, we call it ghenga. Fine. So yes, iodine will be the correct answer. Moving forward, the hormone which is used as an oral contraceptive is dash. So if I talk about the hormone which is used as an oral contraceptive. Now this question is from CGL 2013. Who is going to give this answer? Oral contraceptive. See, here we are talking about the female's hormone. So just try to connect with the answer. Important question asked in CGL. We have discussed about this hormone where we discussed about the disintegration of the corpus luteum. We discussed about ovulation, correct? After the ovulation process. So yes, here if I'll discuss, the correct answer is going to be your option number B, that is progesterone. Next question. The hormone that stimulates heartbeat is dash. So if I'll talk about the heartbeat, so here that means we are talking about the blood pressures controlling as well. True? So here we have several options, that is thyroxine, gastrin, glycogen or dopamine. Please remember the correct answer would be what? The correct answer would be a thyroxine, which is actually generated from where? It is generated from thyroid gland, and yes, we can denote it from thyro, that is thyroxine, which is generated from the thyroid gland. Next, which of the following is not a plant hormone? Now this is from CGL 2017, waiting for the answer from everyone. Yes, so if I talk about the plant hormone, which one is it? Auxin? Obviously yes. If I talk about cytokinin, obviously yes. If I talk about gibberellin, yes. So gibberellin, auxin and cytokinin, these three are actually your plant hormones. Plant hormone. Now see, many times it happens, we must have just read that term for the first time. In this scenario, what you can do? Just have a look. What you have read? We have read about thyroxine, right? And we are also aware of it is generated from where? Thyroid gland. And thyroid gland is where? Thyroid gland is actually present on our neck. Where we discussed, if I talk about thyroid gland, it is present on our neck, which is having a butterfly shaped structure. So it's very obvious that it is not present in the plant, correct? So yes, you can directly relate in this manner also, or if you are aware of these things, it's very good. In plant physiology, we'll understand about these terms. What are they? We started with the fat and protein, where we discussed about this fat and protein in the class where apart from this fat and protein, we have also discussed about the carbohydrates. So if I talk about adrenaline, it was not there, it was never there. If I talk about enzymes, we have discussed this enzyme in the digestive system where they were helpful in the digestion of different products, correct? So here what I'll say, hormone is the only part that is left and we have studied about it today itself. Let's have a discussion on this. If I talk about this adrenaline, adrenaline is generated from where? We have a kidney, true, bean shape. From here we have a part that is known as adrenal gland. Now I have a question from you all. Which one would be the correct answer? Let's see who gives this answer. Adrenal gland is what? Is it 4S gland? Is it 3S gland? Is it 2S gland? Or is it 5S gland? Let's see who is going to give this answer. Yes, my question is, adrenal gland is what? Adrenal gland is what? Is it 4S gland, 3S gland, 2S gland or 5S? Who will give this answer? Everyone. Adrenal gland is actually a 4S gland where S denotes sugar, sex, salt and stress. So here please remember, adrenal gland is 4S gland from where we have 3F hormone. This 3F hormone is really which one? Where F is fear, then fight and then flight. That is emergency hormone. Which one is it? We are aware of that is actually your adrenaline hormone. So we have discussed almost everything over here. Adrenaline hormone is your emergency hormone, fear, fight and flight. And here also what is asked? We are asked about adrenaline. What is adrenaline? It's actually your hormone. We have discussed it. We have taken the example. Correct? So yes, this actually option number A is going to be your correct answer. Next, which among the following is or are female hormones? We have taken this example again. What we have discussed, if I talk about this testosterone, this testo, we can relate it with what? We can relate it with the testes. That is the part of male. So it's very obvious it is not going to be the female hormone. Now what is left? Estrogen and progesterone. We have discussed estrogen and progesterone are the female hormones. So let's just have a look. 1 and 2. Where is it? 1 and 2. So this means option number B is going to be the correct answer. And yes, Nikita, you're totally correct. So yes, option number B is correct and it's good, Nikita. Awesome. Next is, which of the following is responsible for giving color to the human skin? Now this question is from CGL 2017 and this would be the last question of the day. So waiting for the answer. Which of the following is responsible for giving color to the human skin? Now we had a discussion on this part, correct? We have a gland that is pineal gland from where melatonin hormone was released. Now there's a difference between both the terms. Let me write for you all. Please do not get confused in this melatonin and melanin. These both the things are different, totally different. Melatonin is actually controlling your biological clock, correct? And yes, Nikita, that's awesome. Your answer is totally correct. Here, melanin is actually controlling the color of your skin. So whenever a person is dark, this means melatonin is in excess amount. If melanin's concentration is less, that person would be brighter. So British people are actually having lack of melanin and brown people are having more melanin and Africans are having a lot of melanin. So there is actually a difference between them. Whenever we are talking about melanin, its quantity is actually telling us how our skin will be. More melanin, more darker the skin. So yes, all these things were important. Tomorrow we will be understanding about the nervous system. In the morning we will be having previous year questions of different SSC examinations and in the evening we will be having theoretical section. Now there's a question from you all. I just want everyone in the comment section to let me know, should we discuss all the previous year questions and accordingly move the session, or should we keep theoretical section in the way we are continuing? Because I guess we must keep now previous year questions so that we can have interactions in between as well. So is that the correct way? So I'll be waiting for you all in the comment section how you want the session, theory plus MCQ or only the MCQ, and then we'll be covering the theory part. So yes, I'll be waiting for you all in the comment section. Till then, let me tell you, we have a test series of UPSSC PET. You can get that at just ₹1 using code PET99. And the most important thing, you have to download this Exampore app for many things, for many reasons. What are they? You'll be getting live paid courses with the test series, free subject wise and topic wise quizzes with the report card. There are job alert, admit card, examination dates, all exams previous years PDF with the solution. There are topic wise live classes. There are free exam wise PDFs and practice set PDFs. Then there are different current affairs. We will be having all those things at just one application. How you are going to download it? Just go to the Play Store, type Exampore over there, click on the install button, click on the open button, just click on the register part, do some registration and then proceed. So please like this video, share it, and most important thing, kindly do not forget to subscribe our channel. I'll meet you all tomorrow at 12 with the previous year questions of nervous system. So bye bye everyone. Please take care. Good night.